And here we go, man. All right. Hang on, let me just move this a little over. Okay. What's going on, familia? Welcome inside the pad. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep in between the lines. Got your load secure. Okay. For those that don't know, I'll go ahead and let you guys know right now. Um, I have came out and said that at least once a month I'm going to be talking on this subject, child molestation. I've shared my story. I was sexually molested as a kid, just like so many other people have been, but it's always a hush hush thing. It's always keep it down on, keep it on the down low. Don't say anything. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that because it's a problem and it's a big problem. It's a big problem and it's a lifelong problem, man. It's an issue that sticks with you for the rest of your life if you choose not to do something about it. So, man, I got sick this month. I was trying to do this a little earlier. This is why we're doing it at this time on this day, but it's all right, man. As long as we get it out there, let's do it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's bring in my special guest. He's got a YouTube channel. You guys can go check him out on Mr. Garcia.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Chelo. You know, like I said, just keeping busy, trying to stay out of trouble so I don't get in trouble with the wife. Uh-huh.
I'll tell you, man, that's always a good thing. You got to start, try to stay in good terms, man, with the old lady, dog. But
Yeah.
how's life treating you, man? What do you got going on?
Oh man, like I said, I have a lot of things going on. I'm working on my daughter's quinceañera, so that's taking a lot of time out of me. I'm honestly, I'm trying to actually start my own business. You know, I'm trying to start my own brand, so I'm working on that as well. So I'm always working. If I'm not working at work, I'm at home working, or if I'm not doing that with my daughter doing her quinceañera, and we got my kids in swim, and I mean it's just a whole lot of stuff that we're into.
Man, I do not want to hear about swimming. No, hey, man, you know what? That's good, man. Staying busy. I keep trying to tell people, man, stay busy. The people that seem like they fall into depression and everything are people that just don't really do much, man.
Yeah,
They stare into a computer screen for work, like that's their job. They don't
yeah,
do much, man. So it's like stay busy. Get yourself
yeah,
going, keep yourself busy, and you'll see the miracles that it really does. I
yeah.
was saying it on a round table, like you know what, all this stuff it could sound stressful, like oh man, I gotta be over here, then I gotta go over there, then I gotta pick this person up, then I gotta be over here at this time, and I don't know if I can make it. All that stuff does sound stressful, and a lot of that sometimes you do need a break from, but having a life like that, man, just keeps you going. It keeps you
Oh yeah,
going. You got
yeah,
no
it does.
time to feel depressed. You got no time to start, getting into your bad thoughts and just, drowning yourself in that stuff, man. That stuff just keeps you going and it builds character, man. So good to
Yeah.
hear, homie. Good to hear that you're out there, staying busy, man. And hey, I don't have any daughters, but you're planning a quinceañera. I'm sure that's got to be rough, man.
It is. You know, it's a lot. It's time consuming, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of. It just, you know, I this is the first time I've ever done one. You know, I've been to plenty quinceañeras, but yeah, this is one that's like, wow. You know, now I understand why people get stressed out and all this, and you know, and we're trying to do it on our own. We're not trying to have padrinos do help us and stuff. So you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet. Hey, well, shout outs to Andres.
Andres,
Tony,
what's up, man?
hey, Pastor Tony's in here, man. How you doing, Pastor Tony?
Pastor Tony, how you doing?
Joey Knuckles is in here, man. All right, cool. As a matter of fact, I had Pastor Tony come on here and tell his story about this. Shout outs to the House of Reds Church out in Phoenix and up in Modesto as well with Pastor David Rocha. So,
Órale.
but I did have Tony in here to share his story. Let me see what's Joey Knuckles saying. Man of faith, can molesters change though to forgive even the most? You know what? That's a good question.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get into that. But let's go ahead and let's get into the topic at hand.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know what? When I decided to come out and tell my story, I was basically just doing it for myself, right? And
Mhm.
I um I didn't actually realize on how big of an issue it really was until so many people started getting at me saying like, hey, you know what, it happened to me too. Hey man, it happened to me too. Hey, this happened to my cousin. Hey, this happened, to my little nephew. We just found out, man. Boom, dog, just out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
People just started getting at me, and I'm like, wow, 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 wow. Then I started doing research because I never really did research. And I started
Yeah.
doing research on it, and I started realizing that a lot of this stuff happens, and a lot of the time, man, not all the time, but a lot of the time, it's a family member.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it hits a little bit home, where it's like, hey, don't say anything because it's the familia, it's the
Yeah.
family. We don't want to put that out there to family. If it's a stranger or something like that, maybe, okay, go ahead, let's make a lot of noise. But when it's a family member, it's like, hey, let's
Yeah.
keep it within the family. So, but with that, Mr. Garcia, you know, let's get into it, man. Can you share
Yep.
your story with us, man?
Yeah. Well, first off, hey, I wanna appreciate that you got me on here. Thank you for that. And I'm glad that you came out in your video because like I said, when I first saw you and you came out, I was like, wow, this guy came out and said that he was a victim, and then I started noticing a lot of people. And I remember when I first hit you up about it, I said, hey, I told you a little bit about my story,
Mm.
and then that's when we were talking about, hey, let's do a video, and I said, let's do it. So yeah, and I still remember, I was 5 years old when this happened, and it was a relative of mine, that did this to me. He's a lot older than I am. I'm not gonna mention any names or anything, but yeah, he's a family member, and he was actually my babysitter.
Mm.
Because at that time my mom and my dad, they were working a lot, so they didn't have time to babysit me, and my school was not that far from the house, so he would go over there, drop me off, pick me up. He'd go walking because it was a walking distance. And then from there, we would go to his house because his house was actually next door to mine. Because at that time we lived in duplexes. So he would just take me to his house, and that's where it all started.
Where were you living at this time?
I was um I was living on the north side of Sacramento. You
Okay.
know, so I was living there for a little bit until I moved to the south. But yeah, at that time, I was, like I said, I was only 5 years old,
Mm.
and it all started with like just playing around. Like he would do wrestling because I grew up watching wrestling and stuff like that, and it
Yeah.
started that way, and then he started getting a little bit more physical, and I didn't like it. And then he just kept on going at it, and I was like, okay, okay, I don't want to play no more. And then we switched it up to where he was like, okay, let's play with the toys. I got toys in my room, and what he would do is I would go into the room, and he would go into the room, and he would always lock his door. And I'm like, why are you locking your door? What if I want to go outside? He goes, don't worry about it. And that's where it started. Like he started touching me inappropriately, and I was like, whoa, whoa. And at that time I was like, okay, that's not cool. Nobody's ever done that to me. Yeah, let's not do that.
Mhm.
but he kept on insisting. He goes, no, no, this is how they do in wrestling, and it just it was rough. It was rough.
Um, okay. And this would be happening at whose home? At your pad or at
No,
what?
at his pad, because he lived right next door to me in a duplex, and he
Right.
would babysit me. So we were always at his house until my parents came home. You
Did
know,
did he live alone? Was it his place? There was no one else living with them?
no, he had his mom living with him.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because he, like I say, I want to say he's probably like 11 years older than I am, and I was 5 years old, so he's probably like 16, 17 years old at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
You know,
So to you, okay, what relationship did you have with him before this happened? Was he like, a cooler, older family member? Did you guys hang out and stuff like that?
we didn't hang out too much because I mean he was already in his teens. He was hanging out with his friends, but I used to see that and I was like, oh, I want to be like that. You know, I want to hang out with him because he had like the brand new bike and he was hanging out with all these guys and so yeah, you could say he was like the cooler person in the family.
Okay. How long did this go for, man? How long when this started, you're saying you're 5 years old. How long did it go for?
Um, until I was like probably 8 or 9, because
Damn.
yeah, because even when we moved to South Sacramento, my parents still had them babysit. You
Mm.
know,
Man, so it went on for quite a few years.
yeah, yeah.
Um, was this pretty regularly? Was it happening like pretty often? Or was it happening like you know what, it happened once and then it didn't happen again till probably like another year or something? Or was this something that was pretty regular?
Nah, at first it was just like once, because I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he was trying to see what my reaction to it, you know. And at first I didn't want because he would tell me, "Hey, don't say nothing, because you and I can get in trouble." So I was afraid of my parents because my parents were the kind of parents that like they were. My mom ruled with the iron fist. She's that kind of person where like when I was a kid and I got out of hand, she would wet me down with the water hose and get the extension cord. That kind of person. So so when he said, "Hey, you know what? We can get in trouble. Your mom can whoop you," and that terrified me. So I didn't say anything. You know.
Yeah, the old school discipline, man. It's
Yeah.
it's not around anymore.
No, it's not.
I can't see anybody wetting down their kid and hitting them with the extension cord anymore, man.
Yeah.
Um, did you ever think about telling your parents at some point? Did you ever think about telling your mom? Did you ever think like you're saying you were scared of her? You're saying like, oh no, I didn't want to get whipped. But was there ever a time, man, that you thought like, I don't know, man, something's not up? I mean, I think some people don't really understand and realize because I didn't say anything either, you know.
Yeah.
I and I can't even really say why I didn't. But did you ever think at some point, even when you're 8 years old, like, hey, nah, something's not right, something's up here, man?
No, and that's what bothered me too, is because I never told my parents. You know, I just don't understand why I didn't do it. To this day, it still bothers me, and I've always thought about that, and I'm like, how come I never told them? And now now I could tell people without being ashamed or stuff like that, but when I hear other people's stories, I always tell them, hey, you know what? You got to tell somebody. But then I look at myself as a hypocrite because I'm like, I'm telling these guys, but I never did it myself.
What
So I really don't understand why I didn't tell my parents. Maybe
what
it was fear out of my mother or
what was your relationship with your parents? Did you have a close one with them?
not really, because my
Okay.
parents were the working type. They were never really home. So and my mom, she was an old school chola from San Fernando, from Pacoima, and she didn't put up with nobody's BS, so like she didn't have time to like really just stand, I mean, sit there with me and say, mijo, let's do homework or let's do this. She was always working, my jefito too, he was always working, and he didn't speak any English. He was from Michoacan. So, if I had any questions or anything about certain things, he's like, nah, go talk to your mom.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, man, dog. The importance of having a relationship with your kids, that
yeah,
bondship, it's very important. I keep on telling people, man, it's not just about being in your kids' lives. No, it's the relationship that you have with your kids. You know what? Just recently, man, not too long ago, my mom called me, right? She ended up watching one of my videos. I don't know which one it was, but um, she called me, and because I've never talked to her about this. I've never talked to her about it. Even
mhm,
till this day, until that phone call, right? Um, she called me and she was crying, and she said that she didn't know.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, you knew this had happened though, but again, it just silent, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's nothing major or whatever, but it is.
yeah.
It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
she had said, while she was crying, she had said that she should have paid more attention to us, to me, to my brother, and all like that. She's a good woman. She's a good woman, but we didn't have, a real close bond relationship like that. And that's what's very important to everybody watching, man. It's not just are you a good person? No, it's not just, you could don't conflate being a good person with being a good parent. Okay.
yeah,
You gotta have that bond, that connection with your kid, where they know, where they're not gonna believe somebody else when they say, hey, don't say anything to your parents or else you're gonna get in trouble. It's like, no, I have that relationship with my parents. I know that's not true. But
yeah,
in a lot of situations that doesn't exist, man. So it's
yeah.
sad to say. But so all right, man. So this is a family member, few years older, teenage years. It went on for, sounds like, about 3 years or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
How did it come to an end? Did he move? Did you guys move? How did this come to an end?
Well, he just stopped coming around because I guess he got caught from another family member, because I wasn't the only one that was a victim of what he was doing. There was other family members in my family that were being victims of that, and I think he got caught. But still, a lot of my family, they were saying, "Hey, you know what? That's not true. He didn't do that. He didn't. Let's we're not gonna talk about it." And I've heard some of my family members, they wanted to talk about it, and they're like, "Nope, we're not going to talk about this. It didn't happen." Or, oh, they try to make something else up, and they try to sweep it under the rug. But a lot of my family members, we all know what kind of person he was. Now that I'm a lot older, you know, now I understand why a lot of my family members, because I have a lot that went through the same thing, not with just him, but with other family members. And like for me, I grew up as an angry kid. Because first off, I was angry at my parents. I was like, why weren't you there to protect me? How come you didn't see the signs? How come you didn't do this? How come you didn't see that? And I was always angry. So I was very combative with especially my stepdad, you know, because he was the father figure in my life, and he didn't see nothing, and he didn't understand why I was always angry. And I mean, man, Cholo, it put me through the ringer where it was like I was ready to just take myself out.
Yeah. 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 I
Mhm.
know that feeling, man. And you're right. There is that a little that sense of feeling of like, why didn't you know? You know,
Yeah,
you are the parent. Why didn't you know? Forget about, oh, why didn't I say anything? No, why didn't you know? Like, this is,
yeah,
you're supposed to know. There is that feeling that I had as well, man. I'm glad to say that I no longer have that feeling, and I haven't had that feeling for a minute.
yeah.
So growing up for you, man, so um your teenage years, all that stuff, how was that for you, dog? Were you, just rebellious? Did you ever think about it, or did you just kind of forget about it?
No, it stuck to me. It
Okay.
stuck to me for long. No matter what I did, no matter who I was around with, it stuck to me, and it was like this. It was like this dark place in my life where I just couldn't shake it off. Because I couldn't have a relationship with the girl at the time. Because I just didn't understand it. You know, it was just, I was always angry. I wanted to fight everybody. And people were saying, "Hey, why are you like that? Why are you like that?" I started drinking. At the age of 16.
Mm,
You know, because somebody told me, "Hey, you know what? You're always mad all the time. Why don't you take a drink?" And one of my homies actually was the one that gave me a beer, so I started drinking beers, and then I was like, okay, so it helped me out a little bit. But then I started drinking more in high school. And I was like, I can't do this.
mm,
And it's still, even when I was sober,
mhm.
even when it just got worse. And at one point, I mean, there was a few times where I just wanted to end my life because nobody knew about it. And like I said, my parents, they didn't have no clue what was going on. They just wanted to know why I was angry and why I did the things I was doing, and why I wanted to fight all the time. And honestly, me going through that, I felt like a punk.
Mm,
Honestly, I
mm.
felt like I was weak. I felt like I was a nobody, and that's what got me to gain a lot of weight too, because I just didn't care about myself. I was like, yeah, you know what? Nobody wants to care about me. Nobody will take care of me when this was going on. So you know what? Why am I going to take care of myself? You know?
You know what you said right there? You felt like a punk. I get what you're saying, man. I kind of felt like that too. That's why I always felt like, oh, I got something to prove. I need to prove this.
Exactly.
I need to prove that. Because I always felt like that, man. I always kind of felt like, man, I remember feeling scared a lot. And
Yeah.
I always thought, like, man, like, wow, I'm a punk, man. So I gotta prove, I gotta prove,
Yeah.
man. But yet I was scared inside for whatever, for this reason. It wasn't until not too long ago that I actually made the connection to all this, man. I'm like, okay, there's a connection there, man. And once I started um getting out with it and putting it out there, and it did so much healing for me. I was able to see so much clear on, man, okay, this is why this is.
Yeah.
And there was a point in my life not too long ago, man, where I just I was like, damn, dude, I'm just super angry, and I got no idea why. It's like
Yeah.
I thought when I was young, it's like, all right, man, if I make it to be a little bit older, everything will be better. But that wasn't it, man. That wasn't it at all. I really had to look back and dissect what the real issue is. Now, you were saying that this person did it to other family members. Did you know at that time? Did you and the other kids, other family members, did you guys know that this was happening to all you guys?
No, I found out later.
Okay.
I found out later because some of my family members, they I don't know how it came out. We had a conversation, and then I think I was the one that first told them. I said, "Hey, you know what? The reason why I was like that is because of this."
Mm.
Well, I guess we were trying to compare like whose life was harder, or I forgot how it went. And when I told them that, they're like, "Yeah, that was me too." You know.
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's a crazy way to find out, man. When you guys are
Yeah,
just chopping it up and saying like, yeah, nah, I went through this, yeah, but when I was at school, man, I had to fight this dude or whatever, and then like, oh, you know what? I was molested, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
so was I. That's crazy, man. It's a weird way to find out. He got he got caught. One of your family members said something. Take us through that. How did that go down?
So I don't know the whole entire story because I wasn't there. I just heard of what happened. Um, they said I guess one of my relatives, like again, I'm not gonna mention any names, but they said yeah, he and I guess he was there, that person was so angry at him and just said, hey, did you do that again with somebody else? And I guess her mom was like, oh, okay, what was going on? And that's when it started coming out. And my the relative said, hey, you know what, he did this to me right in front of him. And
Wow.
then I just didn't hear too much about it afterwards. I didn't know what was the repercussions. I don't know if she put hands on him. I don't know anything about that. I just heard that she did. She said that, and that was it. And then
Okay.
I just started hearing when I was bringing it up with other family members, that went through the same thing. They're like, "Oh yeah, I didn't hear too much."
Okay. Okay. Where's this family member at today, man? Do you know where he's at? Do you still see him? Anything like that?
No, I don't see him at all. I don't. The last time I heard, he still lives here in Sacramento. But we're on the opposite sides. You know.
Mhm.
But I stay in my lane. He stays away from me because now that I'm a father, you know, it's different. Because I no longer, like before, I didn't care about my life. And that's why, I was, I gained so much weight because I didn't really care. I was like, you know what, if I die, I die. Who cares?
Mhm.
Because I'm just gonna be another person that nobody cares about. So, and now that I'm a father, I live for my kids. I do a lot for my kids, and I'm very, very protective of my kids. But at the same time, I I show my kids all the love that they need. I hold them more. I give them hugs more. But at the same time, when I give them hugs, it feels kind of awkward because knowing that I went through that, I think about it sometimes. I'm like, oh man, if I give my kid a hug like this, is that considered
Mhm.
molestation? Or I mean,
Mhm.
so I'm always thinking about it. You know, I,
Oh
and it,
man,
and it
man, oh
bothers me.
man. You know,
You know,
I had my boy Vince on here, right? And he shared his story. And when he said something similar to that, because I didn't think about that till he said it, and you just reminded me of it. Yeah, that's very true, man. When I, give, like just yesterday, right? We went to my brother-in-law's pad. He's got little kids, right? I go and I give them a hug, but it's man, I'm not gonna lie, man. Every time I'm around kids and they want to give me a hug or something like that, it's always in the back of my mind, like, hey,
yeah,
be careful.
yeah,
Don't give them a hug or whatever. But it's a little bit weird because you do not want to like make it seem like, oh man, like now your mind's all jacked up now. That's
yeah,
that's the thing, man. Your mind's all jacked up.
yeah,
Shout outs to my little niece Aria, man. I love her, man. She's a good little girl and everything. But yeah, she comes, she wants to show her affection, and I feel ready and everything like that. I go give
yeah,
her a hug, and it's like, okay, just that's just a nice little pat, bam,
yeah,
that's that. And yeah, I don't know if you could shake that off. I don't know if you can, because I see other people, get the kids and put them on their lap and a kiss on the cheek and a big hug, and they're holding on to them. And I don't know if it's just guys like us that just look at that and say like, hey, I don't know, this dude might be weird, Or you know what?
Yeah.
We're weird, homie, because this dude is just showing affection to, you know,
Yeah.
his daughter, his niece, whatever it may be, and we're just weird out about it because of what we went through. I don't know which
Yeah.
one it is, but every time I do see somebody like that with their with a kid, I'm not gonna lie, man. I do kind of look at it like, I don't know, man. This dude's a little bit weird to me, and maybe it's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. So, hey, now let's talk about your parents. Did you ever talk to your parents about this? Even now as an adult, I mean, when was the first time, if you ever did? Because I never actually sat down and talked to my mom and say, "Ma, okay, let's talk about this. This happened to me, A, B, and C, all the way through X, Y, and Z." I never had that talk. She called me once because of a video that she watched here on YouTube. And she
Hmm.
was crying, and we spoke. We didn't have a long conversation about it, but I don't know. Maybe one day I will sit down with her and actually, you know, have a one-on-one with her. But did you ever have a conversation with your parents?
No, not really. But my mom did find out when I got a lot older. I was like, I want to say 17 at the time. She found out through another family member. She came up to me, and I still remember. You know, both my parents know they're no longer living, but I remember she cried. She cried a lot. You know, and oh man, it was just hard to see that. You know, and she looked at me. She goes, "Tell me the truth. Did this really happen?" And I said, "Yeah, it really happened." But we never had a conversation about it. You know, like I said, she was always the angry type. So you know, after that, she didn't want to hear it. She don't want nothing to do with it. You know, but when I used to get angry, she would come back at me even angrier. You know, there was times where, you know, she would like beat the heck out of me because I was angry. But
Mhm,
you know, I just didn't understand why. You know, because at that time I was just looking for help.
mhm.
You know, I was just looking for my mom to at least hold me and say, "Mijo, it's okay. You know, I'm here for you." And it wasn't like that. It was like, "Oh, you know what? No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it." You know, and my dad, he didn't understand it because he never went through it. So he was like, "No, no, go talk to your mom." You know.
Yeah,
So
that sucks, man. That's
yeah.
sad to hear, but that happens a lot.
Mm.
Damn, man. I really want to push relationship with your kids to every
Yeah.
parent out there. Relationship with your kids. It's not just providing. See, here's the thing, right? My mom is a good woman. Okay, she is a good woman. She's not, you know, an alcoholic. She was never into drugs. She was never into the street life. She was never, you know, abusive. Well, I mean, today everything is abuse, right? What she, you
Oh
know, did she hit us and spank us? Oh yeah, man. You know, that was there, right? The old, she's from Mexico. She's from Guadalajara. Um,
yeah.
but she's a good woman. Um,
Mm.
but I will say this: Did she raise? Did she raise us? No, she provided. You know,
Yeah.
she definitely provided. We always had food, a place to sleep. Even though the times that we were poor. So be it. Okay, but
Yeah.
we never, you know, were starving. We always had a place to sleep and everything like that. So she definitely provided. But I want to tell all the parents out there, do not confuse providing with raising. There's two
Exactly.
different things right there. You can provide for your kids, and yes, you need to provide for your kids. That is your job. That is your duty. Okay, but that does not mean that you're raising when you're providing. All right. So you got to build that relationship with your kids. You got to be involved in their lives. You got to know who they're hanging out with. Have that relationship with your kids. It builds their confidence. And if anything like this ever happens to them, they will feel strong enough to come and talk to you because you guys have that relationship. But
Yeah.
when you guys don't have that relationship, I think predators see that. They see
Yeah.
that in kids. Because at the time, for me, the house was a mess. You know, it was a mess. It wasn't like a good loving home. It was a mess. So all right, so they found out, and it was just like, okay, you could tell she felt bad and all, but she didn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the reason why she was like that is because I found out later she was a victim of it, you know. So she didn't want to talk about it, and she told me too. Before she passed away, she told me that she was a victim of it, and that hurt me, because I knew exactly what she was going through, you know, and so it hurt me a lot. But still, we still didn't really sit down and have that conversation, saying, "Hey, you know what? How can we move forward from this? I know what you're going through, but how can we move forward with this?" We never had that kind of conversation, and my dad, he just didn't know how to handle this. He'd always say, "Oh, habla con tu mamá," you
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah.
So
Do you talk to your family members, the ones that went through it as well, or no?
yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I talked to a couple of them. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, we have really good relationships. We talk to each other almost on a daily, and we tell each other we love each other, and and I always tell them, we always tell each other, hey, if there's any time, it doesn't matter day or night, if you want to talk to me, hey, just give me a call. I'm just a one phone call away, and I'll get up in the middle of the night and I'll talk to you, and we could just go through it together, because I know the feeling. And what's funny about that, now that you mentioned it, is you know you start meeting strangers that go through the same thing, and somehow you connect with these strangers, even though if they don't tell you right away, you start connecting with these strangers, then later on you find out that they went through the same thing you went through, you
Yeah,
know.
before we went live, you said that your homies, your friends that you grew up with, they're like your family, your carnales and everything, that you never even told them.
No, I
Um,
didn't.
yeah, same here, man. To this day, I still haven't, told them like, hey, homie, check this out, man. I went through this. Nah, dog. And
Mm.
some of my homies, dog, I've known them since I was like in the second grade. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I've never had that conversation with them.
and and see, with me, they just recently found out, not, I want to say about a year ago,
Mm,
because there was a certain situation in my family where one of my family members, you know, he got busted, and now they're giving 40 years plus for being a predator, you know,
really? Okay.
and that family member was really good. He was close friends with my homies.
Mm,
So we all conversated about that, and they were saying, "Oh, I don't know how he did that. Why did he do it, and all that." And I told him, I said, "I kind of understand why he did it," and that's when I came out with my story, because when you suffer like this, when you go through something like this, you either become a predator or you become the victim,
mm,
and you just suffer in silence, or you just commit suicide, and that's what I saw, and for me, like I said, I tried to commit suicide a number of times, but something inside me said, no, no, don't do it, don't do it, and I've had friends that went through it, they they were victims of sexual abuse, and they're no longer here, unfortunately. But
mm.
for some reason, I look at it now, I'm like, God doesn't want me to leave this earth for a certain reason. So now my thing is, I'm trying to find the reason why I'm still on this earth. What's my purpose? You
Right.
know?
Yeah. You know what, man? I never actually thought of truly killing myself, but I did want to die. Um,
Hmm.
I did want to die. I did want to, like, hey man, I want something to just take me out.
Yeah.
I never actually thought about. Well, I mean, not that I never actually really thought about taking my own life, but I knew that I wasn't really actually going to do it. But I did. Even it's kind of weird, man. Even in just recent years, I'm like, you know what? If I go, I'm cool with it. But
Yeah.
in a different way, and now just now, man, I got two sons. I got my 21-year-old and I have my 17-year-old. And just now do I feel more of a reason to live, man, with my wife, with my sons, and my sons are older, but just to
Mhm.
build a just better relationship with them, man. And that's crazy because usually it's when your kids are little that you would think something like that. But
Mhm.
I've said it before. I just recently felt ready to actually be a father, man. And they're older, but
Yeah.
the effects that this has on somebody's mental state, man, it's no joke.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not.
and I do want to say this, what you said. When this stuff happens to you, um, yeah, it is possible that you become a predator as well. I want to take this time and thank the good Lord up above that that didn't happen to me.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
my goodness, man. I Wow, dog. I didn't think about that till you just brought it up. But man, that would be a rough one. Um
Yeah.
I don't I understand the hatred for predators that molest kids. I do get it. I do understand it. And in all reality, um, I don't really want them around me. Okay. But
Yeah.
I do want to say this attitude of like, oh man, they just need to die. We just need to kill them and have them burn in hell and everything like that. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't
Yeah.
it There's no progress in that. If anything, it just makes them just hide in the shadows more. Um,
Yeah.
I would, rather put it out there, man, and see more programs out there to help their sickness, their mental health, man, because
Yeah.
this isn't like this is a complete you're way off your knock your rockers, man, when you're over
Yeah.
there wanting to start messing with kids like this.
Yeah.
um I want to see more programs and be put out there and say like, hey, you know what, we're here to help you with your
Yeah.
sick fetish, and we'll keep it discreet, and we're not here to judge, but we're here to help you with this. If there's anything that can even be done, I don't even really know, man. But just this super hatred, anger out there about like, oh man, we just need to kill them. We just need to kill them. It's
Yeah.
really not helping.
No, it doesn't.
It's not
And
doing anything.
now that you mentioned that, as a kid, me going through this emotional turmoil, you should say, my mom was the kind of person that would display everything. So like if I did something embarrassing, she would tell the family, she would tell this and that. And once you hit puberty, you go through through this stuff, and everything was like a show to my family because my mom was out there just, hey, you know what? Este cabrón, he did this, he did that. And all my cousins were like, oh man, I can't believe he did that. Oh, because I lost my virginity at the age of 15. And I thought I had enough confidence to tell my mom about it.
Mm.
And she goes, no, cochino. And she got mad and she started telling everybody in the family. And, when I was a kid, I started looking at adult magazines and she would pull them out and she's like, look at what these guys. I remember we had like a little get together. She pulled them out. She goes, mira este cochino, this filthy person. And I was embarrassed. Because I was like, mom, this is something personal of mine that I'm going through, you know but she was that kind of person, and because she did that, I have a lot of trust issues,
Okay.
so I don't trust a lot of people, and that's why, like with my kids, when people say, hey, just have them stay at my house, I'm like, nah, you know what, I'll just keep them here, and if you guys want to see them tomorrow, I'll bring them over tomorrow. Or I just have a lot of trust issues. I have a lot of like privacy issues, like I'm in my game room right now, but like when I'm I'm calling family on the phone or whatever, I still close my door. You know, instead of having I'm being in the living room with my wife talking to my tia or whatever, I still come into the room, close the door, and I have my conversations or whatnot because I have those kind of issues. And I shut down a lot of people, and I'm working on that myself. Because I don't think it's fair to everybody else because of what my mom did. You know.
Oh, yeah. Speaking on this dude, you said he's still around, right? Your family member that
Mhm.
did this. Okay. I was speaking with Sharon Rocha, Pastor David Rocha's wife, and she had explained that one of the persons that did this to her is actually in law enforcement, and
Oh
that
wow.
this person is still in law enforcement. Um, does it ever cross your mind that this family member is still doing this type of stuff?
It does. It does. And there was a few times where I wanted to go find them,
Mm,
and take care of it myself. And I really wanted to take care of it myself,
mm.
but something in the back of my mind says no, leave it alone, leave it alone. Let God take care of it. you know and I'm not really a spiritual person or a religious person, but something in the back of my mind said, let God take care of it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, man. It sucks because it's one of those things, man, that as an adult you come out and you say like, okay, yeah, but where's the proof? You know, where's
Yeah,
the proof? This happened, 35 years ago or something like that. Where's the proof, right? There's no
yeah,
way to prove it. It's he said kind of thing, and
yeah.
there's really no way to actually prove anything. So I mean, going through the system, you're probably not gonna get anywhere, man.
No.
I
And the only way people know that you went through it is if they went through it themselves.
mm,
You know that because I mean you could tell someone who's just trying to be there for you compared to someone who actually went through it, and they understand. Because I've had a lot of people tell me, now that, because like I told you, I came out with this 6 years ago, and I started opening up to people, like a healing process, and just telling people, and you could tell who's there just to try to like comfort you and say, oh yeah, it's okay, but then you got those that really went through it, and they're like, oh yeah, I understand, I was there, you know i I went through that myself, you know
yeah, I'm gonna tell. Who'd you start opening up to, man? Because I'm gonna be real with you, homie. A lot of my homies and everything like that. I don't really think I can actually have that conversation with them. They're just really not gonna want to hear it. It's gonna be a lot like, all right, whatever, then, dog. Hey, oh, that
Mhm.
sucks. But oh well. I can pick out um I could pick out two homies, that I know I can actually sit down and have a one-on-one conversation and actually talk to them about it. Outside
Yeah.
of that, dog, ain't nobody that I feel that I can actually sit down and really, have that conversation with them, man. But who
Yeah.
did you start opening up to?
One of my family members.
Okay.
Because yeah, I forgot how it started, but she came out and told me, hey, you know what? Oh no, I asked her. I said, hey, you know what? Were you a victim of this? She goes, yeah. And then I said, I just wanted to know. And at that time, she didn't know that I went through it. And she was telling me, she goes, oh yeah, you won't understand because it never happened to you. But I was going through this and this and this. And I said, I hate to tell you this, but it happened to me too. So I can relate. And like I said, you start connecting with people that are victims themselves. And somehow you tend to, like, for me, when I found out about that, I opened up to her. and I told her about my story. And now, I mean, she's not only a really good family member, but she's like a best friend of me now.
Mm.
You know?
Okay.
But I mean, I don't want to talk too much about my situation because I mean it was very graphic of what this person did to me, you
Mm.
know, and but I could tell you one thing, that dark place, you know, I've never felt that before in my life, and you know, it's you know, if people could say, you know, if hell is real, then that was hell, you
Where you
know.
at today with it? Where how you deal with it today? Are you good? Do you feel like you got it under your feet? Does it still bother you here and there? Where you at today?
You know, it's good that you mentioned that because like how I told you, I keep myself busy. You know, you know, because like I said, well, I've told people this before. You know, usually when you go through something like this, you always find a vice. You know, you're either an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, you're this or you're that. I found my vice. You
Mm.
know, and my vice is working. You know, I work day and night. I literally freaking kill myself all the time because I'm always working day and night because I don't want to, like how you said, I don't want to just sit there because if I sit there, it starts creeping in the back of my mind and it starts dwelling and it starts festering and it starts getting bigger. And then, you know, for like, I got into depression because of it. You know,
Mm.
even after I got married with my wife, I got into depression and she had to put me into the hospital because I was done. I didn't want to be around, you know. Even when I had my daughter, you know, the recession happened. I remember when the recession happened, I started losing at that time I had my own business in landscaping and I started losing all these clients. So I was home more, you know, and that's when I started feeling I started feeling that blackness, that darkness creeping in, and you know, I was getting angrier and angrier, and I fell into deep depression, you know, and I told her I said, hey, I'm ready to kill myself. I don't want to live no more because I first off I couldn't provide, you know, for my wife and my brand new daughter, you know, I my business was going under. I mean, I was losing everything, and I felt like I just lost myself.
Mm.
But now I keep myself busy. You know, I actually work for the government. I actually work for the county. My wife works for the state. Like I said, I have my own business now. I started my own little business on the side. I got my daughter's quinceañera. So, you know, we got them in swim. We keep ourselves very, very busy. So, and then that way I don't get into that depression again because it's a scary place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it is, man. You know, I I recently lost my niece
I'm sorry.
due to overdose. Yeah, I shared her on the round table.
Yeah.
And I come to find out that it happened to her when she was a little girl. Um, and she's gone. Um, Parents, build that relationship with your kids. I wish I would have known this, while she was still living. Um, because I know you just can't go and start talking to anybody about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like you were saying, you know, you talk to your family member that she went through it too and everything, and you guys get that bond, and it's probably something that her and I could invite actually, talked about and stuff like that, man. Um, it's a sad situation all the way around, and it's always a secret, and I'm tired of that, man, because it's gonna keep on happening. Let's stop keeping it a secret. Let's start, talking about it. Let's start putting it out there, um, and we can really help each other out like that. Um,
Yeah.
because if we don't, we're gonna keep drowning. We're gonna keep drowning ourselves in our own mind, in our own dark thoughts, and who knows where that could lead us to. It could lead us to death.
Yeah.
It could lead us to an early grave. It could lead us to do something very foolish and dumb, stupid. That
Yeah.
it's gonna be life changing. So
Yeah.
damn, man, Mr. Garcia, man. Anything else, brother, before we wrap it up, carnal? Any message that you want to throw out there? You know, I admire you, big dog. You know, your channel, what you do on your channel, man. You talk about fasting and health. You lost over 100 pounds naturally. You know, you didn't do any of this, bypass surgery or anything like that, man. You
No,
did it all
no.
naturally, man. That right there. I do want to have you back on, and I definitely want to touch bases with you on all that stuff, man. But
Yeah.
anything, Carnal, anything you want to share? Anything, last words, man? Any message you want to put out there?
Yeah. To those who are victims, I know what you're going through. I know exactly what you guys are going through. Okay, you guys need to find help. You know, it no matter who it is, someone you can trust, but it has to be someone you really trust. Okay. Um, to those predators, you know, you guys need help even more. You guys. I don't know. Like Cholo said, I thank God to this day that I didn't become a predator. But I suffered in silence for a long time. And just think about what you're doing, because some of you guys have kids, okay? And if you're doing this to other kids, just imagine your own kids going through that, okay? You guys need to find some help, some way or another, okay? Whether it's going to a program or finding Jesus in church or whatever it may be, you know, you guys need to find help, because just living through it by yourself is not going to help. It just makes it worse. You know, you need to let it out. You need to talk to it. And that's the reason why I got on this channel today, because this is my healing process. I've told people in the past about what I went through. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details of what happened to me, but it was really horrible. And this is my way of dealing with it. This is my healing process. And to those who suffered and are making it, hey, more power to you. Okay. And another thing, and I hope this guy is watching. Okay. You who did this to me, I forgive you. Okay. I forgive you, because I don't know what you went through. Maybe you went through the same thing I went through, but I forgive you. Even though we don't see each other, we don't talk to each other. You stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. I forgive you. And I hope that God forgives you too. And that's all I got to say.
Wow, man, that was strong. That was big time right there, man. Somebody asked, can we forgive? Um, yeah, I listen. On my end, I forgive as well. I do. It's a tough thing, but damn, hey, listen, man, you're a big man, homie. Serio, dog, for coming out and forgiving, like that. Um, God bless you, man. Seriously, man, I see your channel, man. I see what you've done and everything like that. I'm like, man, this guy's got, you inspire me, Holmes. I want to tell you that, Mr. Garcia, you inspire me, big dog. So,
Gracias. Gracias.
hey, gracias to you, homie. And with that, familia, listen, again, this is out there. It's an issue. It's a problem. We will continue to be putting this out there. All right. For whoever's willing to listen, for whoever's willing to open their eyes to know that this is out there. It's happening. It's happening now. It's happening today. Unfortunately, I keep finding out that, damn it, man, it happened to, a young family member of mine. My young brother passed away not too long ago. I found out that it happened to him, man. This stuff is out there. Okay, let's not stay silent about it. because it will continue to just grow and grow and grow, man. And the effect that it has on somebody's life, that person will never be the same again. But with that, familia, hey, gracias so much for jumping on here and being here with us. Mr. Garcia, you already know what it is, carnal. You're my brother, man, and I got a lot of love and respect for you, big dog. I really do, man. With that,
Likewise, likewise.
yes, sir. With that, familia, live your life like you're on the road. Be aware of your surroundings and always keep a safe distance. Blood makes you related, but loyalty makes you family. Till next time, this is Ed the Cholo Trucker. For one, Mr. Garcia and his channel is in the link, and his link is in the comment section. It'll be pinned, so you guys go check him out. Over and out.